Have you noticed that the same grocery basket costs more this year than it did last year? That feeling is not in your head. It is called inflation, and it is one of the most important forces shaping your financial life, whether you think about it or not. Inflation is the gradual rise in prices across the economy over time. It means each unit of currency buys a little less than it used to. A loaf of bread that cost $2 a few years ago might cost $3 today. Your money did not change. Its purchasing power did. A small amount of inflation each year is considered normal and even healthy for a growing economy. Most economists point to a target of around 2% per year as a sign of stability. Problems start when inflation runs much higher than that for an extended period, because wages often do not rise at the same pace as prices, which means many households quietly lose ground even while their paycheck stays the same. So, what actually causes inflation? There are a few major drivers widely discussed by economists. The first is demand pull inflation, which happens when people and businesses want to buy more goods and services than the economy can produce, so prices get pushed upward. The second is cost push inflation, which happens when the cost of producing goods rises, for example when energy prices spike or supply chains get disrupted, and businesses pass those higher costs on to consumers. The third factor is the money supply. When more currency is circulating in an economy without a matching increase in goods and services, each unit of that currency tends to be worth less. Inflation touches nearly every part of personal finance. Your grocery bill, your rent, your gas prices, your insurance premiums, all of it can climb during periods of higher inflation. This is exactly why an emergency fund and a long-term investing strategy matter so much. Cash sitting in a low-interest checking account loses purchasing power every single year. Inflation outpaces the interest rate on that account. This is one of the central reasons many people choose to keep meaningful savings in a high-yield savings account instead of a standard checking account, since at least it is working to offset some of that erosion. Investing is widely viewed as one of the most effective long-term tools against inflation. Historically, the stock market has produced average returns that outpace inflation over long time horizons, even though it moves up and down significantly in the short term. This is part of why index funds are often discussed as a foundational tool for everyday investors trying to grow wealth instead of just preserving it. It is also worth understanding how inflation affects debt. If you are paying off a fixed-rate loan, such as a fixed-rate mortgage, inflation can actually work in your favor over time, because you are repaying that loan with currency that is worth less than it was when you borrowed it, while your income often rises somewhat with inflation. This is different from variable rate debt or high-interest credit card debt, where rising rates tied to inflation control efforts can make repayment more expensive over time. Speaking of rates, you have probably heard about interest rate decisions in the news. Central banks often raise interest rates specifically to fight high inflation. Higher rates make borrowing more expensive, which tends to slow down spending across the economy, which in turn can help cool off rising prices. This is also why high-yield savings account rates tend to climb during periods when interest rates are elevated, which can work in your favor as a saver even while it makes borrowing more expensive elsewhere. So what can you actually do with this information? First, track your own personal inflation rate by paying attention to the specific costs that matter most in your life, since the official inflation number is an average, and your own experience might be higher or lower depending on your spending habits. Second, keep your emergency fund in an account that earns competitive interest rather than letting it sit completely idle. Third, consider whether a long-term investing strategy fits your goals, since historically, growth-focused investments have offered one of the more reliable ways to stay ahead of rising prices over long stretches of time. Fourth, review your budget periodically, because a budget that worked perfectly 2 years ago might need adjusting if certain categories have quietly become a larger share of your spending. Nothing in this video is financial advice. It is general education about how inflation works and why it matters, so you can make informed decisions that fit your own personal situation. Understanding inflation will not make prices stop rising, but it will help you see why your money behaves the way it does, and it puts you in a much stronger position to plan around it instead of being surprised by it. If this video helped make sense of something that affects every part of your financial life, consider subscribing to Yield Report Daily for more clear and practical breakdowns of the financial topics that actually matter to you.